Hello, mathematicians. Welcome to another math lesson with me, Miss Taylor. I'm glad you're here. Alrighty, so let's see. Are we ready for math? Do we have our fact practice packet? Check. Do we have a pencil or maybe a whiteboard and whiteboard marker if we want to do some whiteboard practice? Now, usually we need our textbook and our workbook, but whoops, the lights went out. But for today, we are not going to use our textbook and our workbook. We're just going to do some practice with mental math. And Miss Taylor's going to turn my lights back on. There we go. Miss Taylor's lights always go out when I'm trying to make videos. All right, so today we are going to do our fact practice. We also have a little quiz that we're going to work on. So you might want to think about, ooh, do I want to do my quiz first? Or do I want to do my video practice with Miss Taylor? So if you want to do the quiz first, you can pause this and do our little quiz and then come back to us. So today we're going to do some fact practice and then we are going to talk about mental math strategies for adding and subtracting. So please go ahead and take 30 seconds, maybe 1 minute or 2 minutes to complete your fact practice packet. Remember, when we are subtracting, it's always a good idea, always prudent to think about our addition facts that kind of go along with it. I see this fact here kind of makes me think of a fact that I know to help me. I know 6 plus 8 equals 14. And if I know 6 plus 8 equals 14, then I also know 8 plus 6 equals 14. I also know 14 minus 6 equals 8. And 14 minus 8 equals 6. So these all work together as a fact family. We have two addition equations, two subtraction equations. So you could think about that to help you with your facts. And again, our goal is to complete this in maybe 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 30 seconds. All right. Good idea also to time yourself. You might want to ask someone, can you help me? Time me. Ready, go. All right. So I mentioned today that we're going to do a little practice with mental math. So I wanted to show you a strategy that you can use when you are adding numbers mentally. And what we mean by that is trying to keep these numbers in our mind in order to figure them out and solve the problem without having to kind of use our fingers or use paper to kind of work our computation, but just thinking about it and kind of holding these numbers in our minds. So here we have 45 plus 8. Now, when we're adding 45 plus 8, we can think about, well, I know 45 is made up of 40 and 5. So we can kind of break that number apart. And then I know this number 8 is made up of two numbers. I could kind of break it apart into two numbers. And I'm looking at this number and I'm thinking, I know 5 plus 5 would get me up to 10 or 50 because 40 plus 10. So I'm going to break apart my 8 to be like a 5 and a 3, right? So we can think about 45 plus 8 as 40. And then we've got our 5, and we can think about our 8 as a 5 and a 3. And that way we know, well, I know 40 plus 10 gets me up to 50 plus 3. 53. So that is one way we can kind of think about that. Now, if you don't want to break apart both numbers into a number bond like that, you could also just break apart this number. Because then you could see, well, I know 45. I know what that is. It's made up of a 40 and a 5. And then 45 plus 5, oh, that gets me up to 50. And then 3 more. So it kind of depends on what makes sense for you. Let's try another. What about if we had, let's do 78 plus 7? Now, what is a way that we could think about 78 plus 7? Now, again, We could break apart this number and think about it like that. 78 is made up of a 70 and an 8. And then our 7 is made up of a 7. Or we could break it apart into two numbers that would kind of help us. And I know there's another number that goes along with 8 to make 10. Just like in the last one, we had a 5 plus 5. What other number besides 8 do I need to make 10? Oops, nice job. Did you say 2? 8 plus 2 is 10, right? So I want to think of my 7 as a 2 and a 5. Nice job. And then I know I've got my 70 here. 8 plus 2. This gives me another 10. So now I've got 70 plus 10 makes 80, and 5 more makes 85. Now, again, if you just want to kind of break apart one number, we could do it this way. And we could say, well, I know 78 plus 2 more gets me up to 80, and then 5. 85. And we could do it that way. Okay, let's try a couple where we subtract. Now, this is a little different. What if we had 90 minus 6? Hmm. Now, how could we think of this one? Let's see. 90 minus 6. I have a thought. Why don't we think of our 90 as an 80 and a 10? Now, wait a second. Is that true? Or do these two numbers make up 90, 80, and 10? Yeah, they do. So what we could do here is think about, well, if I have an 80 and a 10, and I need to subtract 6, I'm going to leave this 80 alone. That one's just fine. And then 10 minus 6, I know is 4. So this part of my problem is 4. This 80 didn't change, and then 10 minus 6 is 4. So this would be 84. All right, let's try one more. Let's try, how about 62 minus, how about 8? Let's try that one. 62 minus 8. Now, would it help me if I thought of this as a 60 and a 2? If I think of this as a 60 and a 2, and then 2 minus 8. I can't really do that, can I? If I only have 2, I can't take away 8. Hmm. So another way we could break apart this number 62, we could think about it as 50 and 12. Would that make sense? 50, 62. That does make 62. I could say, well, here's my 50, and then I have 12. It's kind of like I'm doing this part. 12 minus 8. If I have 12, can I take away 8? Yeah. 12 minus 8 is 4. So my answer is 54. And I could do it that way. Now, if that was kind of confusing for you, what if let's try a different way. 62 minus 8. So that was just one way of doing it. Now, sometimes these mental math strategies, we just try a few different strategies and kind of think about which way makes sense for me. So if that last way was confusing for you, you don't need to use it. But if you think, I think that kind of made some sense, then try it. Now, another way we could do this is to break apart the 8. We could think about 62 minus 8. Well, I'm going to break apart my 8 to be 2 because I want to get rid of this 2. 62 minus, and then I know if I take away 2, it gets me down to 60. And then 2 and 6, together these two numbers make 8. So I could think about, well, 62 minus 2, that's 60. And then 60 minus 6. And that would be 54. All right. So for today's homework, you do not have any workbook pages. You just have some mental math problems to try on your own. So, what you're going to do today, there is a picture down below of 5 problems I would like you to try solving using mental math. And you're going to take a picture of those and upload them, and that is your homework for today. So, you're going to do your math quiz, you're going to do your fact practice for today, and then you're going to do 5 mental math problems on a piece of paper. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will see you again soon.